My name is Arthur Finch. For 12 years, I was the steady hand guiding the content and voice of Veritas Media, a rising star in the world of financial journalism and analysis. I wasn't a flashy byline. I was the architecture behind the bylines. While others chase headlines, I built the foundation of credibility that made our subscribers, many of them powerful, wealthy investors, trust our every word. I was the ghost in the machine, and the machine was worth over $200 million because of that trust. For the last 5 of those 12 years, I had also been a different kind of ghost. I was the silent architect behind the public persona of one of the most revered venture capitalists in the world, Alastair Vance. His monthly investment letters, hailed as gospel in Silicon Valley and Wall Street boardrooms, were crafted by my hand. His fiery TED Talks? My words, delivered with his signature gravitas. His best-selling book on market disruption? I lived on coffee and takeout for 6 months to write it. For this, I was paid a king's ransom into a private, anonymous account, a secret known only to Vance, his lawyer, and me. It was a testament to my skill, a side project that funded my daughter's Ivy League education and a comfortable life separate from my Veritas salary. But my heart was at Veritas. I believed in our mission, or I used to. The change began with the return of Julian Croft, the founder's son. Fresh from a 2-year sabbatical that looked suspiciously like a series of failed surfing startups in Bali, he was inserted into the editorial department as a special projects director. Julian was everything I was not. Young, brash, obsessed with viral trends, and disrupting the narrative, which usually meant prioritizing clickbait over substance. He saw our meticulous, evidence-based reporting as stodgy and elitist. I tried to mentor him. I really did. I showed him how to deconstruct a balance sheet, how to read between the lines of an earnings call, how to build a narrative on a foundation of fact, not speculation. He'd nod, smile his vacant, privileged smile, and then go and publish a piece titled, "Is This Obscure Crypto the New Bitcoin?" based on a single Reddit thread. The tension came to a head in a senior editorial meeting on a rainy Tuesday in October. We were discussing our quarterly coverage strategy. "We need to pivot," Julian announced, without being asked. "Long form is dead. No one reads a 2,000-word deep dive. We need snackable content. Lists, hot takes, more video. My analytics show." "Your analytics show virality, Julian," I interrupted, my voice calm but firm. "They don't show trust. They don't show subscriber retention. Our value isn't in going viral. It's in being right. Our subscribers pay for accuracy, not amusement." The room went quiet. Challenging the founder's son was a career-limiting move, and I knew it. Julian's face tightened. "Your accuracy is boring, Arthur. It's a business, not a charity. We need growth, and my strategy will deliver it." "It will deliver clicks from teenagers," I countered. "And it will drive away the institutional investors, the fund managers, the serious people who are our actual lifeblood. You can't trade credibility for clicks and expect to keep the thing that makes you credible." The founder, Robert Croft, a man I had respected for decades, cleared his throat. "Arthur, Julian has a point. We need to explore new demographics. We can't be afraid to modernize." I knew then that it was over. The battle was lost. Logic and experience were no match for nepotism. The demotion came a week later, not by text, but in a humiliatingly public meeting. My title of senior editorial director was stripped away. My new role was legacy content archivist. My office, with its view of the city, was given to Julian. My new desk was a corral in the basement next to the server room, surrounded by dusty binders of print editions from the 1990s. The official reason was strategic realignment and a desire to leverage Arthur's historical expertise in new ways. The real reason was sitting in my old chair, probably ordering a new standing desk. The humiliation was a cold, heavy stone in my gut. But underneath it, something else was calcifying, a cold, precise sense of strategic fury. They thought they had put me out to pasture. They had no idea they had just given me unlimited time to plan and access to every piece of content we'd ever produced. And they had absolutely no idea that the man who funded their biggest competitor's war chest, Alastair Vance, only spoke to the world with my voice. My first call wasn't to a lawyer or a recruiter. It was to Alastair Vance from a secure line in my quiet basement corral. Alastair, it's Arthur Finch. Arthur, perfect timing. I need thoughts on a framework for my next letter. This market volatility is creating fascinating opportunities. I need to talk to you about Veritas, I said, cutting him off. I never cut him off. He knew immediately it was serious. I laid out the situation in clean, clinical detail. The demotion, Julian's disastrous viral first strategy, Robert Croft's capitulation to nepotism, the direct threat to the credibility of the institution. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, Alastair Vance's voice, usually booming and theatrical, was quiet and sharp as a scalpel. Robert Croft is a fool, he said simply. I've invested heavily in Veritas's subscription model because of its credibility. Because of your work, Arthur. If that credibility is being dismantled, it is not just a bad business decision. It is an active threat to my investment. Precisely, I said. What is your assessment? He asked. He wasn't asking the legacy content archivist. He was asking his strategist. My assessment is that the new strategy will cause a 30% churn in core subscribers within 6 months. The short-term traffic spike will attract low-value advertisers, further degrading the user experience. It's a death spiral. They just don't know it yet. And your recommendation? He asked. I took a breath. The plan had formed in my mind, fully realized, as if I'd been writing it for years. We don't attack. We simply stop defending. You are their most influential subscriber. Your praise has driven thousands of high-value users to them. Your silence will be deafening. And your next letter should outline, in precise detail, the value of integrity in financial media and the dangers of chasing trends over truth. I could almost hear his grin through the phone. You want me to write their obituary using their own stationery. I want you to articulate the principles they are abandoning. I corrected, though we both knew the truth. The market will draw its own conclusions. Write it, he said. Make it devastating. The next 2 weeks were a study in surreal contrast. By day, I was Archie the archivist, organizing old interview transcripts. Colleagues would awkwardly avert their eyes in the hallway. Julian would hold loud, brainstorming sessions outside my old office door about partnering with TikTok influencers. By night, I was the ghost, weaving a masterpiece of strategic destruction. Alastair Vance's next newsletter, The Cost of Credibility, was a work of art. It never mentioned Veritas by name. It didn't need to. It spoke of institutions losing their way, of the siren song of vanity metrics, of the profound, irreplaceable value of trusted guides in a chaotic market. It concluded with a powerful announcement that Vance was personally endowing a new, independent journalism fund dedicated to long-form, evidence-based financial reporting, with a prominent launch event scheduled. The day the letter hit the inboxes of every CEO, CFO, and fund manager in the country, the silence of Veritas was palpable. Then the emails started coming in, forwarded copies of the letter with subject lines like thoughts, and this isn't about us, is it? Robert Croft called an all-hands meeting. He looked pale. Team, we're seeing some chatter in the market. Some misinformed commentary about our strategy. We need to stay the course. Our analytics are strong, but analytics don't pay the bills. Subscriptions do. The following week, the churn report hit. It was worse than my prediction. A 5% drop in premium subscriptions in a single week. The comments on the cancellation forms were variations on a theme. No longer recognizes the value it once provided. Seems more interested in clicks than content. One simply wrote, read Vance's letter. Precisely. Julian's solution what is your assessment? To double down, he asked. Pushing for he wasn't asking the legacy content archivist. Robert he was asking his strategist. Unable to fire his son without is that the new strategy will cause a 30% Meanwhile, in core I continued my work in the basements, The short-term traffic spike will attract low-value advertisers. To the full archive further degrading the user experience. It was intelligence. It's a death spiral. I could see exactly. They just don't know which classic and your recommendation reported pieces were still getting reads from institutional. The plan had formed in my mind, even as the front page was flooded with. As if I'd been writing it for this influencer loves. We don't attack. It was a map of their true value. You are their most influential subscriber. My next move, your praise has driven thousands of high-value users to them, who had been moved. Your silence will be deafening and was miserable. In your next letter, Arthur should outline. It's a circus. In precise detail, she whispered during the value of integrity. He's talking about using AI and the dangers of chasing trends. The senior reporters are livid. I could almost hear looking for other jobs. You want me to write their obituary using the Vance Journalism Fund is hiring. I want you to articulate the principles there who understands real, substantive, though we both knew the truth. I'd be happy the market will draw its own conclusions. I gave her the name of the fund's newly hired director. Make it devastating. A contact from my the next 2 weeks were study. She left Veritas a week later. By day, I was Archie the archivist. The final blow, organizing old interview transcripts. A piece Julian colleagues would awkwardly avert their eyes. A new fintech startup. Julian revealed to be based on brainstorming sessions outside the startup's old stock trader about partnering, and Veritas was blamed for the shoddy report. By night, I was the lawsuit letters weaving a masterpiece of Robert Croft had no choice. Alistair had to go to the market next newsletter. For emergency capital credibility was a work of art. But who never mentioned Veritas in a sinking ship with a captain who had deliberately steered institutions losing their way? I knew who. I arranged siren song. The boardroom was different now. Of the profound, Robert Croft sat at the head of the trusted guides in a chaotic market. Julian was notably concluded with a powerful announcement that Vance was personally endowing a new, independent journalism fund dedicated to long-form, evidence-based financial reporting, with a prominent launch event scheduled. The day the letter hit the inboxes of every CEO, CFO, and fund manager in the country, the silence of Veritas was palpable. Then the emails started coming in, forwarded copies of the letter with subject lines like thoughts, and this isn't about us, is it? Robert Croft called an all-hands meeting. He looked pale. Team, we're seeing some chatter in the market. Some misinformed commentary about our strategy. We need to stay the course. Our analytics are strong, but analytics don't pay the bills. Subscriptions do. The following week, the churn report hit. It was worse than my prediction. A 5% drop in premium subscriptions in a single week. The comments on the cancellation forms were variations on a theme. No longer recognizes the value it once provided. Seems more interested in clicks than content. One simply wrote, "Read Vance's letter." Thank you for meeting with us, Mr. Vance, Robert began, his voice obsequious. As you can see, we're facing some temporary headwinds, but the underlying brand value. Stop, Robert, Alistair Vance said, holding up a hand. He didn't bother with pleasantries. The brand value was Arthur Finch. You demoted him. You replaced substance with nonsense. You have lost the trust of your core audience. The only value left here is your subscriber list, and it's bleeding out by the hour. Robert flinched. Arthur's contributions were valued, but we needed new energy. You needed his judgment, Vance interrupted. You traded a compass for a weather vane. Now you're lost. He leaned forward. I will lead a consortium to acquire a controlling 51% stake in Veritas Media. The terms are non-negotiable. My analysts have the paperwork. The terms were brutal. A fraction of the company's value from 6 months prior. Robert Croft would be removed from the board, and the new CEO would have full editorial control. Who will be the new CEO? Robert asked, his voice a broken whisper. Vance smiled for the first time. We've already hired him. He starts today. He's been conducting due diligence from the basement for the last month. You know him, I believe. The door to the boardroom opened. I walked in, wearing the suit I hadn't worn since my demotion. I placed my access card to the server room on the table. Hello, Robert, I said. His face went through a journey of shock, confusion, and finally, horrifying understanding. He hadn't just demoted an employee. He had insulted an asset. And that asset had simply called in his real owner to repossess the company. My first act as CEO was to dissolve Julian's Special Projects division. My second was to offer every remaining senior reporter a significant raise and a mandate to return to deep, rigorous journalism. My third was to personally call the top 100 subscribers who had canceled and invite them back, with a full-year complimentary renewal, to see the Veritas they trusted restored. Many came back. I sit now in the founder's office. The view is better than my old one. Robert Croft retired to his vineyard, a broken man. Julian, last I heard, is trying to start a PR firm. He is yet to go viral. Alistair Vance was right. Robert Croft was a fool. He thought he was making room for his son's future. He didn't know he was threatening the secret livelihood of his biggest investor's most valuable asset. He didn't know he was demoting the one person who knew every single strength and weakness of his company and exactly how to leverage both. He thought he was putting me out to pasture. He didn't realize he was giving a ghost the keys to the machine and the motivation to use them. The best revenge isn't just getting even. It's getting control, and then, quietly, professionally, restoring order from the chaos they created. That was today's tale of revenge. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because here on Revenge Chronicles by Nello, we drop new revenge stories every single day. Join the community, never miss an episode, and be part of the chronicles of betrayal, payback, and justice. See you tomorrow with another story.